Imagine the entire rulebook for criminal justice in India just got a complete rewrite. Well, that's not imagination, it's exactly what's happened. And right at the heart of this huge overhaul is a new code, the Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Sanhita, or BNS for short. So in this explainer, we're going to navigate this new map of the justice system. We're going to trace the journey a person takes from the very first accusation all the way to a final verdict.
So let's get right to it. What does all this change actually mean for you, or maybe someone you know, if you're ever accused of a crime? We're going to follow that exact path, step by step, through the new rulebook, from that first encounter with the police, right up to the final decision in a courtroom.
Okay, first things first, what exactly is the BNSS 2023? Well, think of it like the new instruction manual for the entire criminal justice system. It's replacing the old code from way back in 1973, and it lays out every single step, I mean everything, from how an arrest should be made to how a trial is run. It's the new backbone of the whole process.
For most people, their path into the criminal justice system starts with a single moment, an encounter with the police. So that's exactly where our journey is going to begin. Let's take a look at the new rules for arrest and investigation.
Now, before anything else can happen, we have to get our heads around a really fundamental idea. The law splits every single crime into two big buckets, cognizable and non-cognizable. And believe me, this one difference is absolutely critical, because it determines how much power the police have right from the get-go.
So here's how it works. For serious crimes, what the law calls cognizable offenses, so think theft, assault, stuff like that, a police officer can make an arrest right then and there, without a warrant from a judge. But for less serious, non-cognizable offenses, their hands are tied. They absolutely must get a warrant from a magistrate first. So you see, how serious the crime is alleged to be, that's what decides the first major fork in the road on this journey. So what does a proper arrest actually look like under these new rules? Well, Section 36 gets really specific. The officer has to be clearly identifiable, with a name tag. They've got to draw up a formal document called an arrest memo, which has to be signed by a witness and by the person being arrested. And this is crucial. They must tell the person they have a right to get a message to a relative or a friend. These aren't just suggestions. These are the mandatory steps.
And this brings us to a really vital point. The arrest process, it's not a one-way street. The law gives every single person a set of rights that cannot be taken away. Think of them as a shield, designed to make sure everything is fair and to prevent any abuse of power.
Let's break down these safeguards. First, you have the right to know exactly why you're being arrested. This isn't a minor detail. It's everything. If the crime is one where you can get bail, the police have to tell you that. As we said, you can have a friend or relative told about what's happening, and maybe the most important one, Section 38 guarantees you the right to talk to your lawyer during interrogation. You don't have to face it alone.
Now here's maybe the biggest check on police power in the entire system. The moment an arrest is made, a clock starts ticking. The police can't just hold someone forever. They have 24 hours. That's it. Within that time frame, they have to bring the person they arrested before a magistrate, a neutral judge who then decides what happens next.
And the law also puts a timer on the investigation itself. For really serious crimes, if the police can't wrap up their investigation and file their final report within 90 days, the accused person automatically gets the right to be released on what's known as default bail. It's a huge safeguard to make sure people aren't just stuck in jail while an investigation goes on and on.
All right, so once the police investigation is done, our journey takes a big turn. We move away from the police station and head into the halls of justice. The case officially goes from the cops to the courts.
So how does a court get you to actually show up? Well, they've got two main tools. The first is a summons. Think of it as a formal notice, an official request to please appear in court on a specific day. A warrant, though, that's different. A warrant is a command. It's an order to the police to arrest you and physically bring you to court. It's used when a simple request might not do the trick.
So what's the one thing, the one document that officially takes a case from the investigation phase to the trial phase? It's this, the police report, but everyone just calls it a charge sheet. Under Section 193, this is the final product of all that police work. It's got all the evidence, the statements, everything, and it's the official recommendation to the court that, hey, we think a trial should happen. And now we've arrived at the main event, the absolute heart of the entire judicial process, the trial. This is the place where all the evidence gets put under a microscope, where arguments are made, and where that huge question of guilt or innocence is finally decided. A trial follows a very structured path. It's almost like a play. It kicks off with the public prosecutor opening the case. laying out exactly what the person is accused of and what evidence they have. Then comes the main part of their case. They call their witnesses, present their evidence. After that, the tables turn completely. It's the defense's chance to fight back, to tell their side of the story with their own witnesses and evidence. And finally, both sides get up and give their closing arguments, trying to wrap everything up into one last, persuasive story for the judge. After those final arguments fade away and the courtroom goes quiet, the trial itself is over. But the journey? Oh, it's not done yet. Now comes the decision and all the consequences that come with it.
After thinking about every piece of evidence, every witness testimony, and every legal argument from both sides, the judge makes a decision. And that decision, when it's read out loud, is the judgment. It's the formal, final destination of the trial.
A judgment basically leads down one of two roads. The first is an acquittal. That means the person is found not guilty and they're free to go. For them, the journey is over. A conviction, though, that means they're found guilty, and that starts a whole new chapter. The court will have another hearing just to decide on the punishment, which is called sentencing. And even a conviction isn't always the end of the road. The BNSS guarantees the right to appeal to a higher court to challenge that verdict and start a whole new legal journey.
So there you have it. We've walked through the new map laid out by the BNSS, from that first contact with police, through the investigation, the trial, and the judgment. It is, without a doubt, a much more detailed and modern guide for every step. But the big question, the one we're all left with, is this. Does having a new map automatically guarantee a smoother, fairer journey to justice for every single citizen? Well, that is the real test that lies ahead.